Synchronic Gaming won the World Championship on defense, and today we're going to give you 7 base links that defended against the best players in the world. Let's start off with the first defense here against Yata, and this was huge. This was the defense that won them the war against Na'Vi and really set up their weekend perfectly because this was the very first war of the event. So Yata here coming in with Super Witch Fireball on this, I call it an anti-2 box, but it's a box base with 2 poison towers. Interestingly enough, the poison towers are on the outside of the base. And what I like about this base is, yeah, there's fireball value throughout the base, but there's no insane fireball value, if you get what I mean. Particularly if you're doing this Warden Fireball, the Super Witch Fireball attack strategy, where you're generally not going to do a super long Warden Walk. So let's see what Yata's going to do for the Fireball here. Here comes in a Rage spell, because he's desperately trying to speed up the Warden Walk here, because it is taking a fair bit of time. And then the Warden goes to the left here, the Super Witches pull, and he doesn't even use the Fireball, because he wanted to get the Fireball further into the base. Surprised he didn't bring some Invis spells, so interesting choice from him there. Now, Yata coming in with this Flame Flinger here, and this Flame Flinger is going to get insane value, but I'm not really recommending you all at home to worry about this. Most people with these Super Witch Fireball attack strategies bring the Siege Barracks with the Queen by default. They're not even going to think about a Flame Flinger, even if it's getting insane value as you see here. So this entry isn't really going well, and I can't believe this Queen comes all the way back. Really interesting decision from the Queen there. The King ability the Warden ability goes off early because the King is taking a lot of damage. I love the multi-infernos on the core of this base because it means essentially that monolith, it's not going to be tanked for by skeleton spells, right? The multis protect the monolith and allow it to do insane damage. And then the King ability goes off super early, and this is where all the problems start for Yata. And that's the whole thing about defending this attack strategy. If you can get the jump spell and the earthquake boots to be used in the same section of the base, you are so well set for a defense, because then you have no way to get through the back end of the base, because you're not bringing the yak with this army that we saw with a lot of the Titan armies this weekend. You don't really have room for the yak in this. Now, it's worth noting, these defenses are on hard mode, but it's also Yata, one of the best attackers in the world, so pretty hard to defend anyone on any mode of the game, particularly if it is Yata. And then the Super Witches are coming in here. Finally, the Skeleton spell can get some value, but this attack is over, and look at it, the Town Hall Poison doing so much work here. The healers trying their absolute best, but the Sweeper was pushing them back nicely, I think, or just the healers weren't doing enough healing for that area of the base, and I don't think this is a time fail. It's hard to tell, honestly, because the Queen's going to get a fair bit here. Nah, it probably is a time fail. Super Witches and the big boys going around. But is it a 3-star? No. But this wasn't the biggest defense of the weekend for Synchronic. All the next bases you're going to see are from day 3. This here was another huge defense coming up against Tryhard. This was the very first attack of the war between Millicent MG and Synchronic Gaming. This was a semi-final matchup on day 3, and this attack did not go well at all. So coming in with Root Rider spam here, and Root Rider spam was, yeah, it was very hit or miss this weekend. Very hard to tell why some attacks overkilled and some got wrecked, but this one, it was a bit easier to tell, because look at all the damage coming on to Tryhard's troops here on the entry. The Warden really couldn't cover many of the troops here because they were quite spread out, so he can't invest the Warden ability early. I bet he wanted to pop that Warden ability really early to get through all that damage, but he really could not, and this attack was in so much trouble because, I mean, look at the symmetrical side of the base. There is a ricochet cannon there, there's a multi-archer tower, there's defensive hero, bomb tower, and there was Teslas and traps aplenty. And because Tryhard kind of spread the Root Riders out, didn't really work that well. And this was not the smart play, unfortunately, for Tryhard. He does overgrowth the Town Hall, because that's the only way he's going to be able to get a 3-star, right? Is overgrowthing the Town Hall and finishing on it last. But I don't think he realized how tough the back end of this base was. And look at this. Everything's dead. All he's got up at the moment is 4 heroes and the Apprentice Warden, and they are not going to be up much longer. All going to fall apart, and they start the war with a 1-star defense against Tryhard. Really unlucky. I love Tryhard, but just not really going right for him here at all, and it was all about the entry. just making it super difficult to funnel, super difficult to get an effective warden ability, and hard for the troops to make an indent in the base. Next up, we have Temper coming in here with Queen Charge Lalo. Now, I'm aware this isn't the sort of army many of you at home are going to be defending. Queen Charge Lalo, an extremely niche army in this meta. But the base defended none the less, and clearly they're coming in with a Queen Charge Lalo attack because the classic attack strategies didn't look as good on this base. This Rage Tower by the Town Hall is brutal, and it's going to end up being the end of this attack. So the Rage Tower goes off. Really unlucky for Temper there that the healers got in range, and they do take a little bit of damage. Queen ability goes off though, and it's not the end of the world here. But look at the amount of damage, and then the skeleton traps pop up. They're going to go straight after the Flame Flinger, which is exactly what you want, obviously, on your Flame Flinger. Skeleton traps running after it. And then this is a beautiful Nado. Look at this. This Nado will also work against some Clone Dragon blimps, because a lot of the time with Clone Dragons, you come from the side of the Town Hall, particularly on a base like this where the two sweepers are facing the back end. So that Nado you see there will work good against Clone, so the Hydra attacks that you see, Clone Hydra. And yeah, look, not even close. This is not going to end up getting particularly close to a 3-star here, because the Queen Charge got no value, because those multi-arch towers did such good work on the healers, so did the multi-infernos, but the big hero was obviously Tornado Trap. King tries his best on the outside of the base here, but his job was to get rid of the multi-inferno, I assume, and he doesn't even get close to that, doing 0 damage, so the King not getting much value on the outside of the base. I don't know what that Warden's doing. That Warden just went straight in front of the balloons and got wrecked by Headhunters. Royal Champion's trying her best, but yeah, this is not going to end up being a 3-star. He does a good job to get as close as he does, but I got a feeling he wouldn't have been able to do this Lalo, potentially even on easy mode. Just so much left up after what happened to the Queen Charge. Nice defense there. Let's jump into the next one. Another defense against Root Riders. Root Riders just did not go that well this weekend at all, but Tribe Gaming went really well, and in fact, this attack here was the very first attack of the World Championship Final, and you're seeing kind of a trend here. The bases that Synchronic built, particularly the ones that were hit first in the war, defended amazingly, and that's always a good sign, because the player that attacks first often is attacking a base that they're extremely comfortable with. They've got all 5 bases to pick from, whereas the guy hitting last might only have had 1 or 2 bases to pick from when he called his attack. So the Root Rider spans coming in. Yet again, you can see the King did not get that much value here. The Warden ability does get a little bit of value, but this Rage Tower lasts so long, and the Overgrowth has to come in late here, because I respect Kronos here, only bringing the 1 Overgrowth. A lot of the Root Rider spam attacks that failed over the weekend brought a second Overgrowth, like we saw with Tryhard earlier. That was completely unnecessary. The second could have done it with 1. So Kronos here trying to learn from all that, and it only brings 1. But you can see everything is stalling up these troops so much. That NATO in the core holding a lot of troops back as well. And this Town Hall's just getting so much value here. Look at it. Troops will jump onto it. Yeah, you hate to see that, but you love to see it if you're a defender. That Queen's barely hanging on. She will go down. The Royal Champion went down, and the Warden does not have enough healing to get through the back end of this base. So despite Kronos' best efforts here, not enough to take down this really nice anti-2-star double Rage Tower base. I think this is a base style that will transfer really well from the hard mode of the game to the game we all play. Next up, we have Rakira's, and Rakira's, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. When you went in here, I was on voice chat with some of my friends watching Worlds, and I basically said that up until this point, you'd been the best attacker in the event. You'd been tripling insanely quickly, and your attacks hadn't really been that close, if I was remembering correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. And then this hit came in, and I felt horrific. I felt so bad. It's been so long since I've been, the hook jinx has been coming in, and I didn't mean it. I take it all back. Now, got a little unfortunate with the spiky ball there, because the spiky ball took out a lot of buildings that the Queen would have taken out anyway. I loved this attack strategy that Rakira's was coming in with this weekend. It's like a sort of mini Queen Charge Lalo, where mini zap Queen Charge Lalo, where you don't bring as many healers or as many zaps as you would, because you've got the giant arrow and the healer puppet. So you kind of sacrifice the Queen ability for that. But what kind of goes wrong with this attack? Yet again, a really good NATO that stalls and keeps this Town Hall up so long, and that Rage Town Hall completely wrecks Rakira's balloons, but then on top of that, he isn't able to get down the defensive Royal Champion. He's still sitting on the Headhunters now, but because the balloons don't get very far, this ground bow picks off all of the Headhunters, and the Warden goes back, and now the Warden is shooting the defensive king rather than following our Lalo, and it kind of shows how tedious Lalo can be, and that it is definitely an extremely skilled attack strategy. Now, am I expecting you guys to run into this when you use it in wars? No, but I mean, if you can defend Rakira's, you know the base is insane, because he was wiping bases in 70 or 80 seconds throughout the weekend, but not in this war, unfortunately, and that is another base link for all of you. And now Excosis is coming in with the Fireball Rocket Loon attack, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what he was going for with the Fireball here, because look, the Fireball on that Expo does not take down the CC. Now, I'm assuming he thought it would damage the CC, because he did leave the Multi-Inferno visible, so he wasn't going for the Multi-Archer Tower in the core either. So a little unfortunate if he didn't know the exact range that that Expo wouldn't get the CC down, because you can see he does not have a poison spell, so definitely expected that. So in the end, all he gets is a Expo and a ground bow and a ricochet cannon when he's got a rocket balloon attack, which is obviously not what you want. Really nice blimp, gets rid of the Town Hall, and he's got a hero dive coming in here. But yeah, look at this. Just so tough to get through this much damage in the core of the base when there's a defensive CC as well. You can see those Icegolems come out. Now, this is going to be the last replay of the video. I know what you're all thinking, Hooked. You said 7 bases and this is only 6. One of the defenses was against Max, and we're actually going to highlight that in a video in a couple of days, because there was something slightly special about that defense that happened 1 or 2 times during the World Championship, which was kind of crazy. It was, to give you a little hint, it was a major mistake, a pretty noob mistake that even pro players are making, that highlights a problem with the Clash of Clans army system. So we'll get to that more in the future videos. I don't know when that's going to come out exactly, but yeah, the base link for that one though will be down in the description below. It'll just be the 7th base link, and this one's obviously the 6th, because it should be the 6th replay of the video, although I could have lost count. But yeah, after that Fireball not going to plan, this attack does fall apart. If it's any consolation for Excosis, the war was over at this point. There was no way for them to win it. But yeah, Synchronic Gaming, world champions, so deserved. They were really strong throughout the year, and the main reason, aside from coming in with some really cool attacks, as we'll show on the left here, the main reason was their defense.